Okay, now we're doing Rosh Hashanah Yudalit. Utzricha, I needed all of these statements of Shmuel. The Ashmin Alach, Rav Shimon Shazuri, if all we said Alach was Rav Shimon Shazuri, have a meaning Mishum Diksav Yesh Bila, I would have thought, yeah, that's only Rav Shimon Shazuri who holds that there's Bila with solid items. Kamash Malon Lakol. So by not doing that, we understand that not everybody holds a Bila. However, Yashmin Lakol Lein Bila, the meaning Rabbanon Sirle. Well, I might have thought that maybe he holds like Rabbanon that we go after Hashrasha. Kamash Malon, Allah Rav Shimon Shazuri, that we don't go after Hashrasha. We go out, we pile it up in a silo and we give after we finish the silo, then you give Trumas and Maestros. The Ashmin and Hani Taiti, if I would have been told those two halachas, Havamina, Kasha to Shmuel and Shmuel, but then we were left with a Shmuel, with a Kasha on Shmuel, because how could Shmuel say the halachas of Shimon Shazuri if he doesn't hold of Bila, Kamash Malon, that Shmuel doesn't hold of the same time frame that triggers the Meiser. He holds Hakol Hoylech Achag Gmar Pri. Now, if you would have just said Yashmin Hakol Hoylech Achag Gmar Pri, Avamina Filu Tuva V'Zeisim Nami, I would have thought everything goes like that, including grain and olives. Kamash Shmalan, Halach Rav Shimon Shazuri, Halach Rav Shimon Shazuri, B'Maidapoli. Now, Halach, where he argues by kidneys, by the beans and stuff, that's where he argues. Tell me these halachas bila lamali. Why did that? Of course, not everybody holds with bila. Even the Rabbanon, who normally don't hold of Bila, here they'll hold of Bila by Yain and Shemen. Tanya, Rabbi Yosef Lili Oimer. When you gather from your grain and from your winery. What are unique about wine and wheat? They grow on the previous year's rain, primarily, because it's when they go into the ground that determines it. The fact that they're getting rained on this year is not that important. Therefore, Misashin Lashana Shavra. Therefore, the year that you give Meiser, their fiscal year is the previous year. Therefore, any type of produce that relies on early water, Misashin Lashana Shavra. Yatsu Yerokos, so you see that excludes vegetables. Vegetables need constant rain. And they need current, present water. Therefore, Misashim L'Shana Haba. That's how Rabbi Yosef Glili learns. Rabbi Kiva Omer, Ba'aspacha Migor Necham Yigvecha, Magorn V'Yekev Miyuchodim, Shigdelim Al Roiv Mayim. They grow primarily on rainwater, which is, if we had to say a percentage, the vast majority of water comes from rain. It's not all. You can get it from a river, the Nile overflows. You can get it from underground aquifers. So wheat and wine grow primarily for rain. Therefore, Misash Nashana Shavra. Av kol shegedem al rav mayim Nashana Shavra. Yotzu Yerokos shegedem al kol mayim. Vegetables need all water, not just rainwater. They need irrigation water. They need spring water, river water. And therefore, Misash Nashana. Now, my binayim. What's the halachic practical nafkamina? Amra vavo b'tselim asarisin, certain type of onion, upula mitzri, Egyptian beans, ikibinai. This not. B'tselim asarisin upula mitzri, shemona man mayim shloishim el Rosh Hashanah. You didn't give them water for 30 days before Rosh Hashanah. Doesn't make a difference. Misashrin l'shoavar, because they grow based on original water that fell on them when they were put in the ground. Therefore, mutar and b'shviyas, they're not considered something that you planted in a Shemitah year. Now, the imlav, if they got water within 30 days of Rosh Hashanah, because remember, we add kodesh to the chol, we start Shemitah 30 days before. So therefore, asurin b'shviyas misashim l'shana, but they'll be, Meiser will be done the next year. Then there was a machlokes in the Mishnah between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. What is the Rosh Hashanah li'ilanos for fruit trees? Beis Shammai said, "Bechad b'Shvat Rosh Hashanah li'ilah." My time. Amar Lazar Moshiach. Hoil v'yotzer Rav Gishmei Shana. When Echad b'Shvat comes around, the majority of the rain for the year have already fell. However, you're still in the winter. The winter equinox starts December 22nd. There are times where Rosh Chodesh is even in January. And we know the vernal equinox, the day when the day where it's exactly 12 hours day, 12 hours night, is March 22nd. So Rosh Chodesh Shvat comes, Vadayin Rav Tkuva Mibachutz. The majority of the season of the winter season is still to come. So the Gemara doesn't understand my Kamar. What does that mean? So even though the majority of the season still has to come, it's already considered that anything comes before Echad B'Shvat is considered the previous year. Rabbi Kiva plucked an etrog, which is a fruit, on Echad B'Shvat, and he treated it like both the second year, because he was choishesh to Beis Shammai, and he treated it, and therefore you would have Meiser Sheni, but he treated it like maybe the Rosh Hashanah is like Beis Hillel, and therefore he treated it like the third year as well, where it's Meiser Oni, right? Echad Kedivre Beis Shammai, Echad Kedivre Beis Hillel. Rabbi Yosef Reidoimer Lo Minag Beis Shammai Beis Hillel Nagba. There's nothing to do with that. Ela Minag Rabbi Gamliel Rabbi Eliezer Nagba. So Machlokes Rabbi Gamliel Rabbi Eliezer. This not. Esrog Shavali Ilan B'Shloisha Drochim Liyarik B'Derech Echad. An etrog is like the fruit of a tree in three things, like a vegetable in one thing. Shavali Ilan B'Shloisha Drochim La'or La. So etrog is a fruit so that it would be also the first 3 years. Villa Ravoy, the din in the 4th year is you have to take it up to Shalayim. Villa Shvius. And in terms of establishing what is the Shnas HaShmita, we said we go after Chanita Sapri, right? We don't go after Hashrosha on the ground or Shlish. We go after the way you normally treat a fruit tree, which is that when it buds. Now, that's what determines its Shemitah season. Is it the 6th year? Is it the 7th year? We go Basar Chanata. But with what produce do you separate Trumas and Maisras? That's when you gather it. B'shas l'kitu, which is like regular vegetables. Diver v'gamliel. Rabbi Eliezer oimer etrog shavali l'chol davar. So you see, Rabbi Eliezer holds it's like a fruit. So we go after chanata for everything, not l'kitasa. So that's the machlokas where Rabbi Kiva was choishesh for these two shitas, not for the shita Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Freik the Gemara. What is this thing that we're treating chumras both ways? V'atanya. Lo'elam halacha k'divrei Beis Hillel. We know the halacha is paskin like Beis Hillel. Haroitze lasas k'divrei Beis Shammai oiseh. Somebody wants to like Beis Shammai can do it, or k'divrei Beis Hillel oiseh. Mikuli Beis Shammai, Mikuli Beis Hillel, Russia. But you're not allowed to take the leniencies of both. You're a Russia. Mechumra Beis Shammai, Mechumra Beis Hillel. If you take the chumras of both, you're a fool. All because of the fool goes in the dark. Ella, if you're going to paskin like Beis Shammai, you've got to treat it, you got to accept his kulas and chumras. So how could you tell me Rabbi Kiva went like both chumras? So the Gemara answers, Rabbi Kiva Gemara is topically. Rabbi Kiva was mistapik in the Masorah. That which we say in our Mishnah, that Echad B'Shvat is Beis Shammai and 2 B'Shvat is Beis Hillel, that's not that clear. Rabbi Kiva lo yada I Beis Hillel be'Echad B'Shvat oimer b'chamisha so B'Shvat oimer. He wasn't sure what the psak of Beis Hillel. So the reason why he treated it with both, because he was unsure whether Beis Hillel held Echad B'Shvat or 2 B'Shvat. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Domer lo mineg Beis Shammai Beis Hillel nagba, ela mineg Rabbi Gamliel Rabbi Eliezer nagba. Period, which we mentioned. Now, I don't understand, says the Gemara. Echad B'Shvat ke Beis Shammai nagba. Rabbi Kiva is a chachamim. Chachamim don't hold like Beis Shammai. Why is he worried about Beis Shammai? This is an etrog whose fruit budded prior to the prior years Tu Bishvat. Uvidino afilu kodim lachem. And therefore, the argument could have been done even not just Echad Bishvat, it could have been in Kislev or in Cheshvan. The fact that they said Echad Bishvat had nothing to do with Echad Bishvat, because this happened from the previous year. Ravina Amar Kroch the Tani. He says you can be metake in the gears of this way. Lo Echad Bishvat haya lechamisha asar Bishvat haya. It wasn't the first day of Shvat, it was Chamisha asar Bishvat. So therefore, Rabbi Kiva is not holding like Beis Shammai, he's holding like Beis Hillel. Lo minag Beis Shammai Beis Hillel nogba. Minag Rabbi Gamliel Rabbi Eliezer nogba. He was involved in the different machlekes altogether. Now that we learned that Rabbi Gamliel holds that an etrog goes in terms of what year it's considered when you give meiser. It's when you pluck it. Then what is the Rosh Hashanah for vegetables? It's Tishrei. So therefore, an etrog, according to Rabbi Gamliel, follows Tishrei. Rosh Hashanah Shalom Tishrei. Versus Meisver, Shimon Elazar Oimer. Likot etrog erev Chamisha Bishvat ad Shelo Tov Hashemesh. A person plucked the etrog the day before Tu Bishvat, before Shkia. Because of Liket Mishu Tov Hashemesh. And he gathered others after Shkia. So each is a separate fiscal year. In Tormin u'Masrim Yizel in Tormin u'Masrim Loman HaChodesh Shal Yashim Loman HaChodesh. Therefore, I says Shlishis Nechnesas L'Revius. It was the third year prior to Tu Bishvat. Then it's the fourth year, the next year. The ones in the Shlishis Meiser Rishon Meiser Ani. Because remember, in the first and second year of a Shemitah cycle, you would give Meiser Rishon Meiser Sheni. In the third and sixth year, you give Meiser Ani. So the Shlishis is Meiser Rishon Meiser Ani. Revius, we're back to the regular Meiser Rishon Meiser Sheni. Okay. So tomorrow morning we'll learn at 9:00.
All right.